Thank you. I am Joseph Kendrick. I'm with the CMFA, or the Columbia Music Festival Association. Um, and usually I like to focus on why we do what we do and what we do before we get to our community project. Um, so generally speaking, if I can sum up CMFA in one word, it is community. And we enrich and create communities through the arts. Um, and generally speaking, entertainment activities for people in your community make livable places more attractive to companies, businesses, employees. So the CMFA always looks at arts through the lens of the local economy. And so, again, those exciting communities bring more businesses, which brings more people, which then it's a huge cyclical process. And generally speaking, those people want to build more things. Now, typically the CMFA, which is we'll be celebrating 125 years next year as an organization. We specifically nurture the performing arts in our space. Originally seen as an umbrella for the arts in Columbia and the surrounding area, the state even. We've moved to more of an incubator. And what does that mean? So if you're wanting to start a dance organization, a dance group, you're probably young, you don't have a place, and you probably don't have any money. So you would come to us as a council, and we would train you, talk to you about how to make your group viable, and that means financially. You would get on our schedule, use our studio spaces, and then hopefully grow and move out into the community. And we've done this several times, and I honestly probably bore you with examples. But again, that community is the focus. People come together to make art. People come together to experience art. And so the Columbia Music Festival Association is a 501c3 nonprofit, enhancing the quality of life for the city's ability to bring visitors to the arts into the metropolitan area. We act as that incubator for individual artists and emerging arts organizations. And we do any number of administrative supporting tasks, and then we offer space to share and then a space to create. We're a 23,000 square foot adaptive reuse warehouse, where we have warehouse space that holds props and sets and backdrops and any number of those things. Then we have two dance studios. We have a black box theater, which acts as a often experimental performance space, costume storage, workshop space, build these things, costume sewing rooms. And generally speaking, our magic number has always been 32,000 visitors come to our space, to our building a year. That's heads in the door. Because of COVID, we've created much more strenuous counting measures. And I can only imagine that once we start hosting events and performances again, we might actually see that number double from my projection. 12 performing groups, performance groups, use our space weekly. This would be the part where I show you a screenshot of our iCal. And there's blue, there's pink, there's black. And so each one of those is our studios, the pink studio, the gray studio, the black box. And it's just packed. Then there's at least 20 other groups that don't use our space regularly for rehearsals that'll come in and use our space for different performances or rehearsals working up to a performance in another venue. Our dream, the inspiration for our project, which is a 1,240 square foot space. And we're being very particular about calling it a multi-purpose space. We have an initiative to be much more of a presenting organization, and we don't want to limit ourselves to just the performing arts. So we want to open ourselves to even broader disciplines. And so this multi-use space, you would see the picture, it's like this, has this amazing lighting and this wall of glass windows letting all this sunlight in, and then this pristine performance floor. And then I would slide, and then you would see what we have, which there are a few faces here that have actually been in the space. I did mention that the organization is 125 years old, and parts of our building reflect that. So as moving forward on our renovation the past 2 years, so we are really starting to look like what we are, which is a top-notch regional performing arts facility. We're hoping to work with the Remodelers Council here in developing this third studio space, which, like I said, would cater much more to theater rehearsals or tumbling groups or art shows. It could be an art gallery. Right, and to show that we are very serious and very grateful for everyone's help. I mean, it's amazing that I'm even here allowed to talk with you about this project. As of today, we blasted our, the Memorial Day barbecue sale. We have about 4,000 contacts over our different social media platforms and in our email blast. We're planning to get that out twice a week for the next 2 weeks, and then a final push, the 13th and 14th. Last chance, what is it? Get your butts.
Get your butts for the party. Bring your butt to the party.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. If you have any questions, I can take them now. We can talk afterwards. I left my card here. Even if it's something like, where do I get ballet lessons or ballroom dance lessons? I can take it. Otherwise, thank you.
Where are you located?
914 Pulaski Street. So,
Beside the train station.
yes, exactly. We just went through a major remodel of the facade in the past 2 weeks. 2 years. All those apartments have grown up, and oddly enough, we were the ones playing catch up.
So how are y'all funded?
Several different sources. I mean, to take from PBS, viewers like you. But we have an annual fund drive. We appeal to the Richland County and City of Columbia H-Tax and A-Tax processes. Donations from groups that use our space. Generally, yeah.
So what do you want us to do? Provide labor, money?
Well, that's why I'm standing up. So
This enters into the big deal with
Yes.
this.
So this is where This is where our group.
I didn't mean to spoil your moment.
No. You was a perfect lead in, perfect time.
Yes.
Yes. The answer is yes. So thank you, Joseph. We appreciate it. And thank you for allowing us to be a part of it. This is a wonderful organization, and it really touches a lot of people in our community, as many of you probably already know because your families have been through this community outreach. So what they have is a big open concrete and brick room, and it's I don't know, 15 or 20 feet tall. Some of you guys have been here. You can help me with the particulars here. It's an old beverage warehouse, so it has a sloped concrete floor, which is not ideal for a dance floor or walking around or having anything that he just mentioned. So we need to have that floor leveled out. So we met with Billy Ray with Knights Ready Mix, one of our members. He came over and gave it a good once over, a good look. He gave us a little bit of an estimate. I'm waiting to hear the rest of what he's talking about. I think he said 7 yards of concrete, something like that, the self-leveling, and we need to get a guy to come in there and put it in. So that's step number one. We got to level that floor out. Step number 2 would probably get the floor that they need for this multi-purpose room, and that's something you can dance on, something you can tumble on, something you can walk on, you can put chairs on.
Has there been a decision made about what kind of floor that might be?
Not yet, but you
Because they
just
have
done some research
some
on it.
awfully intricate floors in the rest of that building.
Not that intricate, I believe. So a floor that can be used multi-purposely, but not what we've seen in the other with the hatch and all the wood. So the flooring, there are options, and we've looked into the dance floors that they have directed us to, and there are options there, and that we'll get to that point. So that, and again, there's give and take there, so we're going to get to it. Installation is another big part. This is a very old building. Again, it's concrete and brick, and there's no insulation. You can see all the way to the roof deck when you're standing in this space right now. So we've talked with another insulation company, SRI Cutters Insulation, which is a member of ours. They are able to donate some of their time and expertise and product. So we met with them. They're the last guys in. As you guys know, insulation is the last one in. But we do need to, there is an existing drywall in between a warehouse space and the space that we're looking at that is not insulated. So one thing we're going to look at doing is taking the drywall off the back of that so that can be an insulated wall. We have to put a ceiling in. Again, you can see straight up to the roof deck, so we need to put in some sort of a deck in there so we can have blown in insulation. And the space next door is the Pink Studio, which is one of their main practice studios in this space. It is not insulated. It gets hot very quick. If you're not there in the morning, you start feeling that sun hit that building very fast. So they're going to give us a quote to blow over top of that, which already has the ceiling on it. That's already an encapsulated space. It just needs to have the insulation blown on top. So that's where we're at right now. But there's also, as you mentioned, lighting needs. There's HVAC needs. So there's other needs. And you know, we're in the infancy of this project, but that's where we're at right now. Not to get in the weeds of it. This is our project, and there are a lot of questions, and this is why the Remodelers Council is going to be a good partner, because you guys are thinking of all the right things. So as we move forward, I hope you all become involved and bring your questions and your expertise and help us answer all these. This is not an unmanageable project. This is a manageable project that we can do. I think it's going to have a great impact on the community, and we can get it done as a group for sure. So there you go. So thank you, Mims and Ron. Thank you, Joseph. Appreciate it. And we'll get your slide back Tonight we have a panel of marketing experts here, and I would say this is a powerhouse group. You guys are in for a treat. Chase Heatherly with Free Time, the Post and Courier Company. Cynthia Giles, Cutthroat Marketing, and Jeff as well, her husband. Thank you for being here, Jeff. I'm sorry I didn't have you with the name tag. Kirk Litton, Midlands Media Group, and Marie Stover with Midlands Media Group, and Mike Dominic, Mind's Eye Creative. We work with all these people with BIA. They're all BIA members, so I think that's important to point out. They all do different things in the marketing realm. They kind of overlap here and there, and they'll probably talk about that a little bit. And we're going to start here to my left I did them alphabetical by first name, if you notice. So we're gonna start with Mr. Chase Heatherly, and I will put my here.
All right, good evening. My name is Chase Heatherly. I have the honor of serving as the publisher for the Free Times newspaper, and as part of that now, the Post and Courier's expansion in Columbia. Of course, the Post and Courier's parent company did acquire the Free Times back in 2016. And since that time, we've really kind of co-branded the two papers, both of which I think are very strong brands for local journalism. And so we have really built out a team here. The Post and Courier, our company, invested $3 million to invest in local journalism statewide. And that included building out a news team in Greenville, expanding our operation in Myrtle Beach on the Grand Strand, and then expanding our news operation here in Columbia. And so between the Free Times and the Post and Courier now, we do have 13 full-time journalists that are working very hard to provide local content, local news for Lexington and Richland counties. And they are actually based here in Columbia, working in our office right there near 5 Points. And so just really enjoying that partnership between the Free Times and the Post and Courier, and hope you all are reading us in print and online and following us, so on and so forth. Of course, we have really built from a marketing partner standpoint, we have really built out what our offerings are to local businesses in terms of, your marketing and advertising, no longer just a place to buy print advertising, but now can really be your full service marketing partner with digital marketing, which I know several of us up here talk about tonight. And then also Free Times has worked really hard to build out a full schedule of events and parties over the course of the year. Most notably our Best of Columbia Reader's Choice program and party in our Columbia Food and Wine Festival, which will take place for the 4th year next month. And so between digital, print, and events, we can be your full service marketing partner. One of the things I would say is that when I look at research in our industry, I really see two things that are happening. One is that as we emerge from COVID, the economy is strong, and so we see on average that business owners are really going to begin spending quite a bit more in marketing and advertising starting the next 2 months. That because of COVID, business owners kind of scaled back and held their money back, but really the next couple of months they're going to be really putting a lot more money in the market through advertising and marketing. And so I would encourage you all to do the same, assuming your competitors will as well. What we're also seeing is that business owners are reducing the number of marketing partners they have. They are, going from having 5 different partners to 3, or going from 3 partners to 2, and really looking for trusted advisors that can provide them a suite of marketing and advertising solutions. And so, and to that aspect, I would say, we can be that full service partner. But more importantly, what I would say is, when you are looking at who you are going to partner your business with for marketing and advertising, I always encourage you to support and partner with someone local. I think the great thing about this panel is everyone on this panel is locally based, and very involved in the community, involved in the BIA. And so I always just say that, when you're thinking about who you're going to trust your advertising and marketing dollars with to grow your business, I always encourage you to think about which businesses are really out and about in the community, giving back to those around you. So with that said, happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me. The Post and Courier and Free Times have a great partnership with the BIA. One of the things we do, the earlier one we mentioned, is Columbia Homes magazine that we produce for the BIA. There are copies outside if you want to grab one. It's just a great part of our partnership between the BIA and the Free Times. And of course, we want you all to be comfortable with that magazine because, of course, featuring the Remodeler Awards is a part of the Columbia Homes magazine that we really, really enjoy. And so we want you all to be familiar with that magazine because part of it, the great content in there is the awards that you all receive. We, of course, partner on Tour of Homes. We are involved in Home and Garden shows, so on and so forth. We really just enjoy the partnership that we have with the BIA and hope to continue growing that in the future. So, with that, anything I missed, Earl? Anything you want me to say?
May as well plug your food and wine festival.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, Free Times does host Columbia's high-end food and wine festival. That is in its 4th year. That will take place May 20th through 23rd. It is a series of events across the region that culminates with an outdoor festival on Sunday, May 23rd at the Hampton Preston Mansion in the Robert Mills Estate. Yes, that is the same weekend as the Home and Garden Show. Earl tried to convince me to move the Food and Wine Festival over here to the state fairgrounds with the Home and Garden Show. I didn't do it this year, but I'm gonna pray about it for next year. And so hate to be competition there, but we're cross promoting, so it's gonna work out well for all involved. But yeah, we would love to have a builder, remodeler sponsor for Food and Wine Festival. We don't have one currently. Have real estate, but no remodelers or builders. So if you'd be interested in sponsoring that event, let me know.
also time to nominate business for
I
president.
can get into that. I can't bring that up.
All right.
I got you. This is a lot.
Cynthia Giles with Cutthroat Marketing. And
Hello, everybody. Again, Cynthia Giles and my husband Jeffrey. We own Cutthroat Marketing, and we specialize in digital marketing, like everybody up here dabbles in. That is the new space of marketing. And the reason is because if you don't show up online, you're not going to get leads. People don't pick up the phone to call businesses to ask questions any longer. They go to Google. They go to search engines and they type the questions in. So if you don't show up online and you don't answer those questions, you're not going to get leads. People aren't just going to pick up the phone and call you. So that's why the overlap is digital marketing nowadays, is because that is your customer service representative and your salesperson on the field. We don't want to do cold calls anymore, right? When was the last time you guys picked up a phone book? Yeah, exactly. What did you do with it? What did you use your phone book for?
stand on it?
Use it all the time. I'm probably as tall as you. Used it as a doorstop.
Yeah, well, most people call me and they complain that they can't hire people that actually want to do work. So you're not going to hire a salesperson that's my age that's going to take a phone book and actually cold call. So digital marketing is the field that you want to go into marketing moving forward. You still need to control it like you do any kind of marketing. You don't want to just let your digital marketing firm go crazy and sell your services, because you'll get calls for stuff you don't do, right, Jeff? You have to make sure you have control of that. Your website is your cheapest employee. It should answer questions and make it easy for you to close that lead when they do actually call you. It shouldn't be, hey, how do I actually get your services? It should be, I submitted that form. Can you please come today? I really need you. You answered my question. And so if your website doesn't do that, then you probably need to look at your website. It should not just be a billboard. It should be answering questions so that you can generate leads. And your social media is a good place for that as well. It's a free platform for you. And your business should be on social media, whether that's paid or you're doing it organically, because it's a proof of concept. So you don't send people out any longer because we're not meeting. Even before COVID, we weren't really trying to do a lot in person any longer. But social media gives you the ability to not only get reviews, but get out proof of concept. It's in a place for you to not be a professional photographer, but show off all of the beautiful work you guys do around the Midlands on a daily basis. And you guys here as builders have a benefit that I don't as a digital marketing firm. No one wants to look at pictures of me sitting behind a computer. But you guys are out every single day. You get to look at the beautiful country that we live in here, and you're building it up. You're developing it. You could take it straight out of Al Gore's mouth and say, I built this, whereas he didn't. So it's beneficial for you guys to take advantage of the platforms you have online. And when you think of marketing, think of it differently. Don't think of it as, oh, I got to pay another thing to get out there. Think of it as, this is my employee. How can I get this to work for me? How can I make my phone ring and it be less of a headache and I only get the clients I really want? You don't have to say no anymore. You just need to refine your keywords. And that's where digital marketing comes in handy. And working with other partners is still important because you do need backlinks. And so I work with everyone that's up here because backlinks are important in the digital marketing realm, and local backlinks are very important. You're welcome, Chase. We are a nationwide firm. We just opened up our West Coast office here within the last few weeks, and we are staying here. I have no desire to move back to the West Coast, but we are staying here, and we are a Google award-winning firm in search engine optimization. And I don't really know what else to say because I help most of you already.
Maybe if you don't even know it.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm the keeper of the drinks.
You have all the drinks.
Nice. I am Kirk Litton. This is Marie Stover. Marie is we're the owners, two of the three owners of Midlands Media Group here in town. Her husband being the other owner of the company. Marie specializes in our marketing side of things. She's VP of marketing. I kind of angle toward more to the sales side. So we have 3 media outlets here in town. We own 2 radio stations. Hopefully you either listen to one or read our online paper, but we've got 93.1 The Lake, which is more of our Elton John, Billy Joel kind of station. We've got 94.3 The Dude, which is our country station. Both of them are targeting that 25, 54 and 35, 64-year-old demographic. Both of them rank top 3 in Lexington County. So if you're trying to visit Lexington County, one of our 2 stations is probably the one you should probably penetrate and look at. ColaDaily.com is our online paper. Just to give you a couple of facts about us. The Cola Daily's got about 90,000 online readers. These are unique IP addresses each month. So all Midland stories, all Midlands news, all Richland County, Lexington County, free, local. You subscribe. We got 12,000 subscribers to our paper now. So it's really, we kind of built this in 2013. I moved to town 2012. Didn't like the state paper at all. Didn't like reading about Florida Gators or whatever. I'm like, what's happening here in town? We didn't want to be blue or red. We don't have an opinion. We don't tell you to vote for. We don't give you a biased slant on what you should think. It really is, we call it kind of vanilla news, which is just give me the facts. Let me decide what I believe, what I like, what I don't like. I'll call my congressman or whoever and yell at them. But our job is to say, we're having a ballpark put in up here for $60 million. Like it, don't like it, not my fight, right? So we did that in 2012. That's been amazing. Like I said, it's up to 90,000 folks. Radio is kind of what we started with and do best. We basically, to Cynthia's point, our job is to get their interest and bring them to the Google well, right? Our job is to make your brand actually known in the public space so that when they think about, I want a roofer, I want a chimney sweep, I want a remodeling person, that's in my head, right? So our job is to give you the best value in town, in our opinion, on how to over and over give that same message out, tell your story, break apart from your competitors, and then kind of bring them to Google. And obviously they want to get your website and make sure you got your testimonials and your pictures and videos and just make sure you obviously look the part once they get to you. But certainly that's our job to bring them in. We have about 45,000 listeners a week on The Dude. We get about 35,000 weekly listeners on The Lake. Ben, you want to hit that? I'll go. I brought some just quick facts on radio because I know radio kind of gets sometimes a bad rap because it's been around for a while. But the reality is we still have 272 million people each week that listen to AM radio, local radio. It's 92% of the population listens to local radio in some piece. Why it wins, it's portable. Obviously, it's 69% of it is out of home, in car, 31% is in home. It's obviously free. Who doesn't like free, right? It's adaptable. So all of our partners that work with us, we run all their ads on the FM broadcast signal. It's also on mobile. It's also on the stream. We don't charge extra for that. So however they access our radio stations, your message would be heard. We don't charge a different price for that. And obviously it's inclusive. There's a format for everybody. So everybody's got a lot of different tastes. Next one there, Ben. Quickly, folks that, their favorite radio station, 58% of their time is spent on their favorite radio station. So whatever your favorite is, you're probably there 58% of the time. If it's not, you have a top 3 stations, you're there 86% of the time. Going into commercials, people love to hit that button, and you hit the button and miss the commercial. Here's the facts on it. As of the last, it's about 2 years old now, that 93% stay during the commercial breaks. 99% stay during talk formats. We don't have any of those. 88% on music formats. People are coming and going at all times, right? So just because you went into the break, you might hit the button. Some guy came in to check out if music's back and catches the commercial. We do a lot differently at Midlands Media. We both have 20, 30 years of experience in CBS radio and larger markets. I got here and said, if it was my money and I was the client, how would I spend my money? What would I want to happen? Because in DC, where I'm from, it was spots and dots, and we never saw the client. We never talked to any of you guys. We talked to some agency that was booking your stuff, and they had spots and points and dots and value, and boom, that was it. Here, I'm like, if it was me, I want short breaks. So we do 2.5 minutes and back to the music. Next slide there, you'll hit there, Ben. On retention, maybe another one. Maybe I'm out of order, but it's okay. We obviously, our best practices, you're fine. Go back there, Ben. We're good. Yeah, we're good. Best practices, you want to tell your story. Our goal is to tell your why, right? Why should the consumer care and why are you different? That's it. I mean, if you're selling the same Toyota Camry, I had Jim and Keith Hudson in yesterday. If you're selling the same Camry as any other guy selling a Camry, the story is you then, right? It's you. Why are you in the auto business? Why are you in this business? What is your passion? Let us tell that story for you. Obviously, the consumer wants to know what's in it for them, right? They want to know, nobody cares about your, and we try to do the don'ts, which is don't do phone numbers. Unless you're 732 drip, don't do it. I mean, you're driving 60 miles an hour, hearing your commercial, they're not going to remember 842-2612. They're not going to remember. You're wasting your time. It's 10 words 10 more words I could have used for something else. We don't do addresses. I mean, if you ask somebody, where's your business at? Just like we had earlier, where's your thing at? It wasn't 914 Pulaski. Sorry, it doesn't mean anything. But next to the train station meant something, right? So we do that. We don't do addresses. We try to do landmarks to get them to know where you're at. And obviously customer service, better ingredients, please just save your time and money. Everyone says that. Unless you're going to say we have the worst service in town, come see us. It's not going to stand apart. So, everybody's got better ingredients. Everybody's got the best service. That's not something the consumer doesn't believe anymore, right? So you got to tell your why and break apart. Frequency and compelling messages wins in radio. We offer very competitive pricings. Most of our plant, Cynthia works with us and Mike works with us. And we have people that spend $500 a month. We have some that spend $10,000 a month. It's really about consistency of message and telling that story. It really is. Last one there, Ben. I'll pass the mic. I said earlier, so where I come from, and a lot of, there's iHeart Media here in town, there's Cumulus Media here in town, there's Alpha Media here in town. All my corporate competitors, they're running 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes commercials. No one's there when your commercial runs, right? So we're running half the commercials. We run local spots first. So if you ever run with us and you hear Home Depot before you, your spot's now free. We don't have any competitors the same break. I have one roofer. I got one heating, air conditioning. I got one plumber. We're back to the music. I don't want to hear your competitor 60 seconds later saying why you shouldn't be using the guy you just heard 6 seconds earlier, right? It's just, I wouldn't spend my money that way. I don't want to spend your money that way. So locals first, short breaks, and category exclusivity is kind of what we built ourselves on these last 9 years. And phenomenal success. 2020 was our best year ever. This year's already been better than last year. So we weathered the storm well. I think our local clients know when they work with us, they get something besides just spots. We really want to tie you into the fabric. If you're listening to Brent Johnson or Tony Clyburn and these guys, all of our clients that are spending a decent budget with us on a monthly basis own something. So they stand out from the rest of the competitors in the breaks. Marie, you want to add anything else?
No, you did a great job.
I know I talk fast. I got to take more breaths and slow. I'm not a radio guy.
I just want to add that if we could help any of you remodel your advertising campaign.
She worked on that one. She worked on that one. All right. And Mike Dominic, Mind's Eye Creative. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah. Mike Dominic, like you said, Mind's Eye Creative. I guess I'm the new kid on the block. Started the business fall of 2019 and in steps levelly COVID. But fortunately, just like most of you or a lot of you, we flourish. We've been successful by the grace of God. And also thanks to people, some are in this room who've given us business and given us referrals. So very, very thankful for that. I've been associated with the BIA actually for many years because with the former agency I was with, very involved with the BIA and work with them. So basically, we specialize in strategic marketing. What that means is that we look at your overall marketing plan and we help you put that in place for you. We look at your budget, what you have to spend, and we see the best place to use the dollars on a monthly basis. And, definitely digital is part of the plan. Let me get back, we handle all forms of advertising, be it digital, be it traditional. We also do website design, video production, and all of that. But going back to the strategic marketing plan, we like to work with our clients and develop a plan that's going to work for you. And yeah, digital is a big part of that. And, Cynthia, she does a great job. I've been associated with her and she does a great job with SEO and getting you on the first page. And, but I would like to encourage you to consider that you really need to be focused on your brand as well. Because yes, it is important, that Cynthia gets you on page one in the search results, But 9 times out of 10, you're going to get business from that. But you also have to be conscious about, you need to build your brand. So for example, if I was to start a business, if I had Mike's Pest Control and I was out there and I put money into just SEO alone, and I landed sure enough on the first page, but nobody's heard of me, then right below me or two below me, they'll see Clark's Pest Control, like, wow, I know Clark, I met Brandon at the home show, so you really need to be focused on, in addition to your SEO, which is very important, you need to be focused on other forms of advertising that's going to build brand awareness for you, because that's going to help you, be in the mind's eye of your customers. So I encourage you to do that. And like I mentioned before, we're all been busy, and that's a blessing. And a lot of people have put advertising kind of on the back burner. And for example, the Home and Garden Show is coming up, and we've had some people who have exhibited with us for a while say, you know what, I'm just so busy, I'm not going to worry about it. Well, I really encourage you, one, the Home and Garden Show, but also in other areas of advertising, that you don't put that on the back burner. I mean, look at it as kind of like a big pie chart. So right now, those of you who are very flourishing and successful and got more business you can handle, your customer base looks pretty big on that pie. Well, when things slow down, because they will level off, and God forbid we have a recession, but when things slow down and that pie chart becomes more of a little slither of a piece of pie, you need to think about how much of a percentage of that sliver you want. Because if you're not building your brand now when things are good, then when that clientele or potential clientele shrinks, you need to be on their mind. You need to be to where they're going to hit you. They need to know that, yeah, I saw his booth at the home show. I remember that. And so you really need to be focused on that. And then one more thing I like to touch on, because we also do social media management. There's a lot that you can do yourself. I think Cynthia touched on that a little bit. Keeping your Google business page fresh, if you're on Facebook, if you have a profile there, I have mixed feelings about Facebook, but we use it as a tool. Yeah, I go on there and some of my redneck fans say stupid stuff, so I ignore that. But Earl, I'm not talking about you. The election's over, right? No, never mind. But really, you need to look at that. Some of you may have a storefront business, but a lot of you don't. You're mostly service organizations, so you work out of your office. You don't have foot traffic. But if you have a social profile on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever, and you're letting that go by the wayside, that's actually your digital storefront. And so people are looking for you on there. If they're considering your business, they'll go to your website. It needs to be a good representation of what you do. But also, if they're an avid Facebook user, they'll check your profile out there. And if you haven't had a post since 2017, they're going to either think you're dead or you just don't care. So I encourage you to keep that storefront fresh to the point of, if you're doing it yourself, we recommend doing at least twice a week a post. But if you can at least, once a month, just have fresh content on there. So when somebody goes on there, they'll say, yeah, you're alive and breathing, you're working, and it just builds a legitimacy about you because you just don't want them to think you're dead. So anyway, but yeah, Mind's Eye Creative, we can help you out with any plans for your advertising, implement any of your advertising that you want, and just let us know, we can help you.
Don't give that to him. Thank you all very much. Now is question and answer time. If anybody has any questions, it's right here on you.
Great. I will say, on Mike's point, I've had a lot of conversations about, we typically try to do 3 people in any one category. I don't want to have 15 heating air conditioning companies, but a lot of people come to us in the last 3 to 6 months, and they're having the best year they've ever had. I've got, home builders that are having the best years they've ever had. And my comment to that is, because they have advertising every week, every month. And the comment to that has been, you get to be picky now, right? All those leads, you get to pick and choose the best leads. I've got a roofer who's been on for 8 years, Mid-State Roofing. I'm sure you guys have heard of Mid-State Roofing and all these are. Larry is like, I get to pick the best jobs. I get the most leads. I get to pick the best jobs. And so having that volume continue to come in, to Mike's point, allows you some options, I don't want to do the $100 job. I want to do the $10,000 landscaping job. I don't want to do I can't find anybody to mow my yard. So I can find somebody to put pavers in my backyard right now, maybe, if I'm lucky, 6 months from now.
We got a lot of questions.
Curious for any of y'all, the social media management. I hear a lot of people talking about, we manage your social media, we put, how does that, are you calling the client to say, what are you doing this week? What do you want to, how do you know what to post, how to put, to be relevant to the actual business?
Cynthia, if you want to follow up.
Yeah.
What we do, we have two plans. Obviously, there's paid social media. So we can actually manage that for you. We work with you to determine a budget, and we handle that on a weekly basis. And we actually, develop the ads, be it a video ad or a static picture ad, and we write all our content. And so we put that in for you, and then, like I said, that's a paid ad. Another program we have that we do alongside that or separate, because I have one client that's all they do, is we'll actually manage the Facebook page for them. So they give us the keys to their page as an editor. And so again, we develop the ads, we do a video ad, or we'll do a static image, we write the copy. And so we're posting, all depending on their budget, we'll post either once a week or twice a week, but we're just posting on their behalf. And all depending on the client. Yes, I have one client that I have full range to where if they get a response, because they're busy, they don't mess with it. I'll actually answer that response for them on their behalf, all depending on what the question is. So we manage it that way, but no, we don't actually go out and solicit anybody, by phone.
So for us, social media management, I don't like to call it that because it sounds like a package of some kind, and we don't do any kind of packages. But what we do is it varies on you internally. So if you have someone internally that can kind of handle taking pictures and generating content for us, then we'll handle the technology aspect of the posting. But I have some clients where they just send me pictures and I then text them back and go, what's happening in this picture? So I can get a little bit more information. Sometimes I'll be like, what location is this happening at? Sunshades is really good at just telling me full details when they email me pictures, so I know exactly what's going on. We also try to meet with the business on a pretty regular basis, so I have an idea of what's going on. Reviews are a big part of that. So it depends on what you want. And going back to Mike's point, you have control of your brand. And so if you're buying packages and someone is generating graphics for you, you are using social media to get leads and to sell stuff, and it's never going to work for you because no one goes to social media to be sold crap. They go to social media to get away from life, to be entertained. And so what you need to do on social media is make sure that you control your brand, and you should find a firm, if you don't want to do it yourself, that can help you emphasize your brand, not recreate it. And so it is very important if you're paying for social media that you put effort into it and you take pictures and you explain your services. Otherwise, marketing people are just a bunch of salespeople. We will sell whatever we are supposed to help get that lead for you. And you're going to get leads you don't want. And so it's very important that you have a little bit more control over it. But again, very similar to the way Mike said, it's paid, there's organic. We do very comprehensive year plans. Some of our clients, we actually sit down and decide this is your full marketing campaign. We want to engage. We're going to get people to comment. We have someone sitting there full time commenting as the business, engaging with other businesses or with prospects, especially retail or e-commerce. There's other people that are just to fill the hole for SEO, because going back to what Mike said, if you don't pay attention to what's online for you, and you don't go create your social media profile, and you have someone that you pissed off and they didn't like you, they created it for you. And so you have a bad profile out there somewhere, probably with a bad review and not your correct information. And that's what people are going to see. And so it's important on an SEO side, even if you don't care about social media, that you have someone filling that void so you control your online brand. And so just post proof of work.
And you already have the best imaging. You guys have the best opportunity. You can say the before and the after, right? All I want to see on your website is what you can do. And then on your social, Facebook, there's the before, there's the after. That's the guy I need. Now the question is, do they value your business? Do they know you or not, right? So it takes 7 impressions in the human brain to give anything value, right? I mean, I tell my sales guys all the time, it takes 7 asks. Most sales guys stop at 3, right? I mean, you've got to build that value up in somebody's brain to say, sunshades, sunshades, sunshades. When I need something, I'm going to call sunshades. You know, it's like you want to become Xerox, not copy machine, right? McDonald's and Coca-Cola run ads every day, every week, radio, TV, digital. We've all heard of all those brands. But when it comes time for the decision, am I buying a 2 for $3 Big Mac, or am I going down the street to Rush's? I mean, who's in my head?
Yeah, hopefully Rush. Around here.
Around here, it's Rush's. I hear.
What do you want?
They are better. They are better.
Chuck had a question.
Okay, this is for anyone that wants to grab this. You know, that's the one thing I've struggled with is whether to get into social media or not. I've gotten banned by Facebook. Don't know. I don't know. Yeah. You know.
I think his son took it off his
computer. Myself that got me banned, you know, I don't know. But is integrating all this stuff, because it's more than just putting something out on Facebook, you know, your XYZ builder or your, you know, sunshades and graphics. You just don't post something there and expect all of a sudden get 5 million leads or something like that, or get the type leads you want. You don't want somebody that I had the fine fortune to meet with the other day, drive 45 miles out of town, beautiful pond setting. He wanted to renovate a little bomb shelter in the side of a hill and wanted to do it for $5,000. And, you know, but you don't want to get a bunch of leads like that. But, you know, it's just a lot to incorporate. And it, you know, the simple thing everybody hits is, I'll just put it on Facebook. Just, you know, you need to get on Instagram. You need to get on this. You need to get on that. But I think from what y'all sounded, you need to have a coordinated approach to everything.
You need to create a brand first.
Well, that's why I want somebody to be creative.
It's a check mark. It's a check mark, right? I'm going to find you on Facebook. You set your profile. You show me some pictures. It's just one more check mark. Okay, he looks good. Website, he looks good. But at the same time, you've got to get to the well, right? I got to get the horse into the river. Yeah. And in this situation you just mentioned, I mean, you might want to just get the, you know, FaceTime, right? Show me what you want to do, and then turn it around and go, I'm not going out there for $5,000 and turn it back. You know, you can answer your own question right there on a FaceTime.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't anymore. I can show you the work before you get there and do it from your
office. Great thing for the house is, well, let me have your address, and you're sitting there talking to them, you Google and do it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, I'm not going to that neighborhood. No.
In this case, the neighborhood wasn't so bad. It's just.
I think the social media answer your question is a necessary evil. Because you know, you gotta have a profile, you gotta have a couple pictures up there before and afters. And to Mike's point, and probably Quincy as well, you gotta at least be, you know, have regular posts. I mean, I don't know what Cynthia recommended her. Mike said 2 per week, but it's got to be something in recent time.
It helps legitimize your business, and you still are going to have to, if you get a lead from Facebook or wherever you get it, you're still going to have the challenge of trying to pre-qualify that lead.
Oh, yes.
And, you know, I'm theoretically going to walk out to somebody who wants, you know, me to put up a Wi-Fi sign or something. It's something I don't really do. So, I mean, that happens, but you got to still pre-qualify.
You get sunglasses. Did you get anybody calling looking for sunglasses?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you do, right? So, I mean, it's just.
Not as many as we.
Nice and cheap too. That's good.
That's
good. That's good. I need a pair of Costas. Closest Costas.
And kind of to that point, you know, a lot of times what ends up happening is that final point of conversion where they actually decide to pick up the phone and call you isn't going to be on Facebook. It's going to be that they've seen, you know, 20 posts from you over the last year. And so to kind of refine those prospects down that you don't want, since your website is kind of that last conversion point, you can sit there and you can gear your frequently asked questions along the lines of, you know, how can I get rid of the prospects that I don't want? You know, if you've got like an absolute, I don't want to do a job for less than $10,000, and you put a FAQ on there, hey, what's your minimum job price? Well, I'm not going out for anything less than $10,000.
anybody that actually reads the FAQs and is on your site that has $5,000 to build a bomb shelter is going to be like, oh, this is out of my price range.
This was the 1960s bomb shelter.
Well, that's why you wanted it for
Yeah.
$5,000. You wanted 1960s pricing.
You wanted to remodel it.
I
Yeah.
guess he's like, you paid the big.
Like an example of what you could have done, you drove all the way out there 45 minutes and there was a bomb shelter in the side of a hill. You could have taken a picture of yourself in front of it and been like, this is what we don't do. Bye. People would have shared it. It would have been a big deal for you too.
Start tornado.
Yeah, 90% of our advertisers are doing, the touching point is the website, you know, and we tell people all the time, get a website that's memorable. I don't care if it's mybaddayattorney.com. I mean, you can make up it. I mean, Cynthia can help, Mike can help, I mean, we can all help. You don't want some ABC hyphen this. I mean, it's, they're not gonna find you. You know, get sunshades.com or sunshadessc.com or something easy that the person driving, hearing it, seeing it on TV, seeing it on a billboard, is going to stick in their head.
Yeah, I haven't done anything 5 years on my website.
You are not good, not good. They're wondering.
I'll put a picture of a coffin on there. Have it kind of cracked open with my hand.
You should hold a wake. How about
Once a month picture with the paper or something from the date on it. Would be the way to go on that one. No, I'm still here.
How about content creation? Like, not everyone here is a great photographer. Not everyone here has a video camera all the time. Who helps with content creation and to what level?
I would imagine all of us do.
I think all of you do as well, but differently.
We are a full service digital marketing firm. We have a staff of writers at all levels of writing available, and that's with search engine optimization being our main bread and butter. We're content focused, and so your websites don't convert or rank if they don't make coherent sense and answer questions. But when we write that content, we have to work in keywords, and so it's like a puzzle. So we have writers at all times for that. We also have photographers, video editors. We are full service. We recently
We've got our FAA 107, so we can do drone photography.
Even in areas that it's no-fly zone, we can still do that. And we also illustrate. We recently brought on illustrated videos. So full service content creation. But what we usually avoid is creating the content, the visual content for social media. If you do not have a visual aspect to your social media, we're probably not the firm for you, because we guarantee a return on investment. And if I'm generating just generic graphics that look like this and I post it on social media, it's never going to give you a return. It's great for here because I need to read this, but on social media, it's just going to go and no one's going to pay attention to it. So I can only create so much of a visual content for you guys.
Kind of to that point on the social media, we are very data driven. I get paid to stare at the numbers all day. That's why I'm here, and I'm super boring compared to everybody else because I look at spreadsheets. But that being said, what's really, really cool about social media and that content creation side is that the pictures that come from people's cell phones tend to get more engagement on Facebook than having a professional photographer out there. Because kind of to Cynthia's point earlier, people don't go to social media to get sold. They go to social media to take a 5-minute break while they're, doing something else. And, the professional photographs day in and day out, they're staged. They don't look real. Whereas, if you've got a worker that's up in the rafters somewhere that's doing anything, that's more genuine, that's more real than, photographers sitting there on the floor like, yeah, go, make it so I can see your face a little bit.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see that. So, you guys have the most powerful social media content generation machines in your pockets.
Yeah, authenticity wins every time. We encourage, I have a lot of clients that hate being the first person, the voice of their commercials. But I encourage them often, we can edit you to make you sound really good. But the point is, you got to be the expert. I mean, no one's more passionate about what you do than you. One of my DJs or some voice from out of town cut a commercial for you. Sounds nice and proper and professional, but the reality is I'd rather have a twang, a ting, something, I'm here, I'm from Newberry, I'm from Chapin. Newberry, where are you? You're Newberry. I mean, I feel like you telling the story about why you got in that business or why you have the business or what, how you do that business is much more powerful than anything else. It makes it authentic to Jeffrey's point.
And Mike?
I don't really have a whole lot to add. Kind of ditto on what Cynthia said. I agree with all that wholeheartedly. The way we work is we do sit down with you and we determine a budget with you, and all depending on that budget, and we determine what your goals are. Then that's what level, as far as content management, of what we do. We obviously can write everything for you. We can send a photographer out and get the photos. I have a guy that does drone work as well. And there's times where that is appropriate, even on social media. Now, a lot of times we'll double it up. If we do a nice drone shoot, we're going to put that on your website and, anywhere digitally we can where it's appropriate. So, it's different levels. We'll meet with you, determine your budget, and like I said, come up with a strategic plan, what we think is best for you. And there's certain situations where, yes, a quick shot with your cell phone is appropriate, and there's certain situations where a professional shot is appropriate as well.
I don't know, Mike, you do our video production, you do our radio, you do our billboard, and print. So I know you do a lot of creation.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just speaking overall creation. And
yeah.
I know you guys do more than just radio commercials. You have online.
We love interviews. We have our banners on Call of Daily and our video, pre-roll videos. And we'll create anything you needed. But
and even making a web banner is hard for some people.
Yeah.
Not everyone knows Photoshop or Illustrator. So it's having that at your disposal with these people, I think, is important.
I think we each probably have our own. We've got a graphic designer. Everybody's got their copywriters, graphic designers lined up to help whatever need you might have. That's not what I do. I'm not good at it, so I'm not going to try to sell you something I'm not good at.
Right.
We have people for that.
Yep.
So on the side of not working with a firm, there's a lot that you guys can do yourselves that will actually generate a lot for you on social media or on website or whatever. And don't overthink it. So going back to, we go to social media to be entertained, right? One of my most highest ranking post is not a before or after. It's literally the emptying of a water tank from a carpet cleaning van. Oof. And how much water was sucked out of this dirty rug. It still is one of their top views. It has seen hundreds of views, and it's just a video of dirty water pulling out with the logo in the background, and it just says, "This is a rug that was cleaned a month ago. What does your carpet look like?" And they got calls off of it. So don't overthink it. Your cell phone is probably a better camera than most cameras you can go out and spend $1,000 on nowadays. Don't be afraid to do it. And there's free software you can use. You can just set up an account for free. It's called Canva, CANVA.com. And you can go and create graphics, upload your own pictures, and make something as if you paid a graphic designer to do it professionally for free on your own.
And you guys are out there, so y'all are out there already doing the work.
Yeah.
Just take a second to snap a shot. And, like Cynthia said, that works wonders. It really does.
Ben, just because I can't ever not be quiet.
Ron's got to talk.
I'm the one that's never quiet. But organic marketing and volunteering with the BIA and with the Chamber of Commerce and with Harvest Hope Food Bank and with everybody else in town that might need anything. If you can donate an hour or two to them and market your business and get your name out there, those things will make the things that y'all do exponential, in my opinion. So that's part of you need to work on the organic marketing besides just what you pay for.
Yes.
And that's 39 years of experience just telling you where I got what I am.
And if you're not going to pay anybody to help you with your marketing, and you don't want to do social media, and you don't want to deal with the website, pay attention to your reviews. Your online reviews is 50% of your organic traffic. And if you do not have online reviews, you probably have a bad one and someone created it for you. And so that's your only presence online. Pay attention to your reviews, if nothing else. And your main review platforms are Google, Facebook, because Facebook is now feeding into Bing, and Yelp, but go ahead and ignore Yelp and never pay them any money. Never pay Yelp money.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's a negative review on something.
Oh, wait a minute.
Respond to it.
Yeah.
Just, you know, I remember reading one, and I'm gonna make it short. This lady reviewed a restaurant and just had really negative comments about their spaghetti sauce. And the guy came back and said, you know, I appreciate your response. We tested it and you're right. And we changed it. You know, and I have a lot of respect for that kind of company that can admit to that.
Well, if you get like a 1 star, I mean, the best thing you can do is respond to it and take action to say, we hear you, we apologize. I mean, people will look past a 1 star and look at all the 5 stars if you respond to the 1 star.
And make sure you put in keywords no matter what star review it is, because it will help you with organic search results.
Yeah.
Always thinking. Always thinking.
Question about, so you got, I don't know all the different social medias, but I know you have Facebook, Instagram. I guess to me, TikTok is kind of new. I don't know how long it's been around. I guess you have Twitter. I don't know. There's other ones too.
Yeah,
I mean,
Parler.
are they all equal, the same
No.
as far as?
They all have different target demographics on them. And so really you want to know what the age range and what sex or gender your target demographic is, and then go from there. Because your business doesn't need to be on every social media platform. TikTok is going to be mostly 13 to 20, 21-year-olds, and it's mostly female. Whereas Reddit is where you're going to find mostly males all the way up to 45. But it's really hard to do anything on Reddit because it's anonymous. And so it really comes down to knowing who your target demographic is, which is going back to Mike's conversation beforehand. You shouldn't market anything until you know your brand and who you're branding to. Otherwise, you're just throwing money out the door trying to hope it sticks.
All right.
Well, thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for sponsoring the meeting. Okay, good questions. Hopefully everyone got some good stuff out of that. Call these folks if they can help you. Thank everyone for being here in person, as well as those that joined us virtually.